Hey, boys and girls, buffaloes and bunnies. It is the weather report for Friday, September 10th, 2021. And we decided to have Shit Show Fridays, we're going to call it. We'll open it up. But I just want to mention something to everybody that comes into the room. I love all of you. Okay, but at the beginning of the weather report, we want to do at least a half an hour of some focused content and work. So I'm not going to give links to any more than David Scott and one other person. So I have to do that. No, not you, Midnight. Anybody but you, Midnight.
I contribute to the channel.
You do, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, so it's wrong. But I mean, forgive me for not putting the link out right away. I need to do a little bit of focused content at the beginning of weather reports, except for Shit Show Friday, because anything could happen on Friday, right? So
yeah, we might even have John Maddox stop by or Smokey. Who knows?
I feel so bad when three of you want a link, and I've already got four people in the room, and I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, you should hear him crying. He's dabbing his tears and blowing his nose.
Yeah, because I'm a soy boy,
Wait, who called you a soy boy?
Maddox probably calls me. He calls all the liberals soy boys, right? So if you're a liberal,
Josh is in the side chat. So,
Dr. Josh, we have a question for you.
Dr. Josh, so awesome.
The question is about Hebrew sublanguages and Dr. Grady McMurtry. So in the description, I have a video where SFT interviewed the brilliant Dr. Grady McMurtry, who's a member of Mensa. If you believe he's a member of Mensa, you might also believe that he's really a doctor. And I have a little blog or a blog that I found where a guy did a lot of research on what his education is exactly. Now, he has a bachelor's in forestry, and he did through some New York conglomerate in environmental science. He did a thesis on pine trees or something, and he's got a master's in forestry, and that's his education. Well, then he has a doctorate in, we're going to tell you, Dr. Josh. And he has a doctorate in... a
doctorate of divinity.
Divinity, right, from a college that apparently is not accredited and isn't really a college and doesn't publish the theses, the thesis of the doctorate. And anyway, it's all in that little blog. So, but he has a website where he offers all of this information about evolution and old Earth and all that stuff. And he claims that he's a yak for 46 years. He was an evolutionist for 20 years. And I did the math, and it turns out he was an evolutionist until he was about 20. And then for 4 years, he was an old Earth creationist. And then he spent 16 months reading the science literature, and he found no evidence for evolution. This forestry guy decided on his own that all of science was wrong, and he was right. And now he has a website where he offers all of this information about young Earth creationism at $12.99 per DVD, and he's got like 260 of them. So if you want to go there and
fucking shit, that's a lot of DVDs.
If you want to go there and drop a few, I'm not sure if he has that many DVDs, but he has that many videos. He claims some of them are free, but he's obviously peddling stuff. So anyway, so that's a setup for Dr. McMurtry, who was on SFT's channel, and they were going back and forth, and it was just the probably the most disgusting thing I've seen in a long time. the
By the way, Speed. Hold on, I just want to say something really. By the way, Speed. I do believe the guy is from the guy is from Mensa, and you want to know why I believe in that? You believe that because all Mensa is a club for redheads.
Oh, okay.
So,
Anyway,
so let me get this straight. He did research on evolution. Did he do all of his research in Answers Journal?
I think he did it when he was like in college when he was like 20 years old. I don't think Answers Journal existed. He did it like 46 years ago, right? Okay,
So-
46. Now think about this. This is about 1974, 75. That was when he formed his opinion about evolution. That was 46 years ago. Yeah, I guess I already did the math. So 46 years ago, evolution was, how much was available to him? You know, what did he learn? And has he learned anything since? Anyway. So it turns out his father, there's some question, but it looks like his father is Grady Lewis McMurtry, who was a author and occultist, followed occultist Aleister Crowley. And he was into some weird cult called Thelema, but apparently his father died when McMurtry was 1 year old. I'm not sure if that's the. Anyway, it's all in that blog where this guy does a lot of research on Grady McMurtry. And I think Andrew Cumming wants to dig into his stuff a little bit because he did a whole bunch of things about magnetism and the Earth. You know, the magnetic field, and a whole bunch of other garbage that he put out with Standing for Truth. So,
okay, can I you know what? I need to find a way to get paid for writing bullshit as well. How can I do that?
join AIG or get some fake cred.
Hook up with a SFT. He'll hook you up.
You know what? Just imagine if I do that. I pretend to be a younger creationist just to make money off of them.
Well, that's what they do.
I'm planning on doing this conversion myself on this YouTube channel, make it really public, and convert to Christianity and older or young Earth creationism, and go make some damn good money.
Yeah,
right.
Because I can cherry pick with the best of them.
Yep.
I've got all the documents. So anyway, the other thing I wanted to point out is I linked it again. We linked it yesterday, but Dr. Dan did a thing on COVID. And it was apparently Creation Ministries International put out some information or videos or something. I didn't get the whole backstory because I was like already 10 minutes in. And apparently they were telling people to get vaccinated. They were coming out in favor of the vaccine. And Dr. Jonathan Sephardi came out for the vaccine. And their flock apparently ate their face off. So it's called... What does he call it? Did you remember, Scott? Oh, but I never thought
leopard. Go ahead.
But I never thought the leopards would eat my face. The danger of creationism. Now, Dr. Dan makes a really good overall point in this video, and that is that Creation Ministries International and all the and their kind have been telling them that science is fake for many, many years, and telling them not to trust the evolutionists. And now all of a sudden they're telling them that those same scientists have got it right about the vaccine. And their listeners are saying, what? No, you're wrong. And they ate their face off. So they got a little vicious with James Tour, and they got a little vicious with CMI. So, I mean, they've created this monster of people that are, not going to believe science, mainstream science, right? Because we're all liars. And now when our lives are at stake, they're still not going to believe mainstream science. And Dr. Dan makes the point that this is the damn danger of this pseudoscience bullshit that these creationists are putting out.
Well, I've heard of a woman who was dying from COVID. I mean, the doctors told her, more than one doctor told her, look, you are dying of COVID. And she denied to her dying breath
Yes.
that she was dying from COVID. What the fuck are these idiots? How did they survive?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that idiot didn't, but I mean, how do these idiots survive?
Yeah, we spent a long time convincing my older sister to get the vaccine, and she kept, every time I tell her that people are dying of COVID, she said, "Oh no, they're dying of pneumonia."
Okay,
It's like, it's not COVID.
can I just say something here because I've seen something on Twitter a few days ago that really bothered me. Somebody said, "Well, if you don't get the vaccine, then don't expect the doctors to treat you." It's like, so you're wishing ill upon people just because they don't want to take the vaccine.
Yeah.
That doesn't really help. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I mean,
okay. Maybe they don't want to take the vaccine because of some kind of religious reasons or whatever, or maybe the autoimmune deficiency or whatever the fuck. But this entire pandemic has done nothing but divide the fucking world more than it has, and it just bothers the hell out of me.
How does that work? Did polio do that? Did smallpox do that? I mean, what
did the plague do that?
Yeah, what does this have to do with politics? I mean, it's just nuts. And yet, all the friends I have that are conservative Republicans are anti-vaxxers.
Because this has shit all to do with politics, but Trump started it all when he said, "Oh, it's just a hoax made in China." I mean, what the fuck do you expect, you idiots? You know? I mean, what do you expect?
Okay, well, the virus did originate from China. I think either from a cave in Wuhan or a lab.
Did.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying the virus was created there. Obviously they were probably testing it or
Okay, Dr. Dan
observing it over the fuck. And then from what I hear, there were some scientists who to make extra money, they sold meat. They sold animals to the Wuhan market, and then that's how the virus started spreading. It wasn't created in a lab, but it did come from one.
Dr. Dan covers that in this video. Also, Dr. Dan did a video with David Neff, and there was something on Twitter about that getting taken down by YouTube, but the video's up right now. I linked it in the description. So there are 2 Dr. Dan videos that you should watch about the virus. There's also one that I'm going to find you. It is the Ninja Nerd videos. He's a doctor, and he does really intense, in-depth videos on anatomy and medicine and physiology and a whole bunch of other things. And he did a 1-hour thing on the truth. Basically, he goes over all the papers on COVID and the Delta variant. And it's just a really good video, and it's real balanced, and he shows all of what we know so far in depth. And I'm going to try to find that for everybody. Put it in the description. So,
well, the thing is, yeah, it developed in China, but it's not a hoax. Fucking it's not a hoax.
I know. What are we gonna do? And it's like,
and doctors are not going to just refuse to treat people who come down with COVID just because they didn't take the fucking vaccine.
No. I think you misunderstood me. I think there were some people calling for doctors to do that. I'm not saying doctors themselves are going to do that.
No. I know what you were saying, but I mean, right. They're not going to do that because they're doctors and they want people to get better. That's what they want. But I mean, fine, if your fucking religion, if you have some fucking religious objections to taking the vaccine, that's fucking stupid, but that's your decision. However, this is a caveat. I think for everybody under the age of 18, The parents should not stand in the way of their children getting vaccines.
Yeah.
Hey, what's
That's
the
just-
age limit for the vaccine? Should all little kids should get it too, or what's?
I think it's 12 and above.
12 right now.
12 and above?
I think
It
it's
is,
12
yeah.
and above.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
And
They are seeking FDA approval right now for 12 and under.
Yeah, I think
FDA
that's what they're working on now. Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
So for minors between the ages of 12 and 18, I don't think parents should have a fucking choice in the matter. They should
No, I don't
vaccinate
think so
their
either.
kids.
Okay, so I got the video, Ninja Nerd COVID-19 vaccine, I think it is. It's the name of it. Let me see. Is this the one?
I have a question. I have a question that's been bothering me for weeks.
Share it with us.
How do you not trust the science behind the vaccine, but trust the science behind ivermectin?
I know.
It doesn't make any sense, does it? It makes no fucking sense. And why do they think ivermectin's gonna do anything? Ivermectin's for parasites, you fucking idiots.
I mean, isn't that horse remover or something? Or horse worm remover?
It's horse dewormer.
Yeah, horse dewormer. And
how the fuck does the horse dewormer work against corona?
Yeah, it's not going to work against corona. You said it, man.
And also, you know, if you go to the vet and you get ivermectin for horses, it's gonna fucking kill you. I mean, hell, a horse is a hell of a lot bigger than a human being. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, there's a dosage problem with and people.
Well, I mean, Lisa, there are people out there who do horse tranquilizers and manage to survive. So, yeah.
I got to remember to put midnight in the back room every time I want to say something.
Sorry, Speed.
Yep.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, anyway,
good, thanks.
How's science? Doing good?
Science working? Is it working?
So far, as of 2:15 in the afternoon.
That's very comforting, man. Thanks.
Is that what it is? Yeah, it's 2:15. Yeah, actually, it was interesting. You guys are talking about COVID and ideology. Was that?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually so I'm on this COVID team at the University of Idaho. So it's a pandemic modeling team. One of the things I'm working on is a paper on risk, COVID risk and associations with ideology. And when you look at when you break down counties based on their ideology, and you assess things like cases and deaths, and you look at it over time, it's really interesting because, like, in the beginning of the pandemic, and this adjusted for population, if you adjust for population on counties, that at the peaks, conservative counties have a much higher fatality rate or relationship of cases to deaths in conservative counties. If you consider, if you look at political ideology based on the 2020 election, if you're like, how did you like, what was the breakdown of Trump versus Biden? And you use that to kind of quantile conservative versus liberal. Conservative counties are doing much worse right now. So it's actually very interesting, and it differs regionally. So if you take the entire country, like conservative counties are doing worse. But if you look at it like by the health regions, like the HHS health regions, it's somewhat different. Like you see differing variations amongst those counties, but typically conservative counties are doing worse. So it's really interesting, this ideological effect. Anyways, that's it.
Okay, I'm going to check out something.
Very sobering.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, look what's happening in like Florida and Texas. They're just going crazy again. You know, the thing is, I'm 70 years old and I have COPD, It's not severe, but it's enough that I have to be concerned. And when this pandemic first started, I was very concerned that this may kill me. I may die from this, right?
Yeah.
And then we got the vaccine, and it was like, oh wow, it's over. And I almost cried when I got the vaccine because I was so goddamn relieved. I realized that every time I went in, and anytime I had any contact with anybody, I was like in fear. I was scared. I could feel it in my gut. And now, then it was like all hopeful. And now I don't know if you watched Colbert last night, but I guess some newspaper led with the summer of hope turns into the summer of doom. That was the headline, basically. and like, we're back again, and we're only back because these goddamn fuckers have some kind of a problem with the science, with the vaccine, with, it just drives me crazy. And I still, and now I might die again. I mean, this could kill me, it's like, God damn it, guys. And there's this, there's also a bunch of ageism involved, and not just ageism, but just like total not caring about grandpa and grandma and older people and people that have pre-existing conditions. I mean, it's like, oh, well, if they die, we're just weeding out the herd, right? I mean, I thought they didn't believe in evolution. What the fuck?
Well, like, a lot of people believe in herds, though.
I'm so goddamn angry at the acquaintances, I won't call them friends anymore, that I have who will not get the vaccine. And they want to come over for Thanksgiving dinner, and I don't fucking want them here. I don't even want anything to do with them.
I wonder if conservative Republican cattle ranchers refuse to give vaccinations to their cattle.
Yeah, or their dog, rabies, Because
I mean, what Speed? I'm curious. What's your perspective on mandated vaccines?
I think we should absolutely do it. It should be mandated.
I agree. I totally agree. I think you could make a legal case. I think you can make an ethical case for it.
They did it with smallpox, right? Dr. Dan said they were even kidnapping children and vaccinating them. We got rid of smallpox, and we need to get rid of this goddamn thing too before it kills us.
Look, I know. Sorry to interrupt you, Speed, but I need to weigh in on here. Like, I often think about this, right? Like a vaccine. A vaccine mandate, would be a good thing in the sense that everybody would get vaccinated, but at the same time, I honestly think that there's ethical implications of that. Like, ethically, you could say, if you could say that that people will be healthy in the long run, but it has been my experience, right? It has been my experience that that nobody wants to give an ounce of their autonomy to have a pound of freedom, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the thing is now, okay, if a meteorite was headed for Earth and it was gonna kill us all, every one of us, right? An extinction event. The government would gather together and suppose that they had to make us all work on a rocket ship in order to blow this thing out of the sky and save the human race, right? Would we make concessions to stop that extinction event? Would we say, give up a few of our freedoms? Nobody realizes it, but this virus shit, it could end us. I mean, really end us. And if it didn't end us, if it killed 95% of the population, can you imagine what would happen to the world economy? We civilization.
We do this all the time, where we make evaluations as to what are the implications. What is like the we weigh outcomes. And the example that I've used previously, like legally, is although I don't agree with these DUI checkpoints. DUI checkpoints, many it's illegal in many states. Many states, they have within their own constitutions, they don't do it, but some states do it. And the Supreme Court has ruled that the minimal invasion of your Fourth Amendment rights is over there's a counter to that in terms of the public health with people driving drunk. So they're like, look, if the state is going to, if we're going to have people driving drunk on the roads, we'd rather have a minimal invasion of your Fourth Amendment rights in order to prevent from this other more detrimental issue. So we do this all the time, where we're like, we balance rights based on larger outcomes, and public health is a larger outcome, where we're like, the effects of the vaccine are minimal, the adverse side effects, and while there will be some side effects that are negative, the value of it outweighs the negatives. So we do this kind of stuff all the time.
But like I said, like I said, it's been my experience that that some people do not want to give an ounce of autonomy for a pound of freedom.
I agree.
If that makes sense.
I totally agree with that. But in these other situations, and I hate to use an example of like, what was the other example I was thinking of? Like seatbelts are one, but there was another one that was more compelling. God, I forget. But we do this all the time, where we make these decisions. We're like, we're going to mandate this and people like, this is a violation of my rights. They're like, minimal invasion of your rights is acceptable to prevent a larger danger to the public. Like, what about when we do martial law, or like when there's like a hurricane coming in, and we're like, we invoke martial law, and we bring troops on the streets, and we force people into their homes. We don't want looters. We make people do those things because there's a greater value to that. Now, this is a unique situation because this is like people's health, and again, it's a diffuse situation where people are like, you want to make me put something in my body that I don't want to do for a greater benefit of public health. I understand the caution around that, but my perspective is, I think there should be mandates. But
yeah, I mean, you've got the right to say no, I don't want the vaccine, but I've got the goddamn right to live. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say,
and my right to live outweighs your right to not take the vaccine.
You could like say, I don't want to take the vaccine, and we're like, well, then you can't. You have to stay. You have to be. Can't
go to a store.
Or you have to be you have to quarantine in your home. You can't leave your home. You can't interface in public. You know, until the.
Well, I'm wondering. I'm wondering if they could aerosolize the vaccine.
I don't think so. I mean, that's just my take, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would solve the problem. Make it in the air so everybody has it, whether they want to take the shot or not.
I don't think.
I mean, that is. Wow, that is. I don't even know where to begin with that.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Did I have a choice when I went to first grade about polio and all the other vaccines they gave us? I don't remember a choice. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but that's because you were like 5. You didn't have it. You couldn't give a choice.
Yeah, that's bullshit. But that's another subject. But anyway, I don't remember it being a choice, or we just do it blanket, and we do it. And nobody ever fought against that. I didn't want a shot. Damn it! When I was
that's because we didn't have these stupid fundies running around all over the place.
Yeah, they've become a problem.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene and all that shit.
Yeah.
And that pink-haired woman that goes to heaven every time she falls asleep, and there's a body parts warehouse where angels go to get body parts for people who lost their body. I mean, what the fuck?
There must be no replacement limbs in that warehouse, because nobody seems to ever get their amputated limbs back.
I know, right?
Or by the way, they get made whole in heaven.
I mean, what about this? Okay, I'm just throwing out, like, these are firebomb controversial issues. What about the Second Amendment, like gun rights? Like, I mean, I understand. I know lots of folks are very, they see those rights as like God given, and like you can't take those away. But like, the more guns that there are, the more deaths through shootings and violence of that nature. So
Accidents, 3-year-old boys shooting themselves.
Suicides, like
12-year-old,
suicides.
a couple 12-year-olds had a shootout in Minneapolis, and the kid just died. A 12-year-old got killed by another apparently classmate, or I don't know how old the shooter was, but I mean, it's just, and I'm somebody who keeps a lot of guns, and I want to have a handgun. And it isn't because I think I have the right. It's just that I feel comfortable having guns in my house to protect myself, right? Sure. But I started, like, I'm sliding more and more liberal the older I get, and I'm starting to think, maybe I could do with just the rifles and shotguns, and it might make things a little easier if we didn't have handguns.
I mean,
because these assholes are downtown Minneapolis having shootouts. They never hit each other. They only hit little kids in cars, and they've killed like five little kids. I mean, at a minimum, let's teach these kids, these young gang members to shoot. I mean, if we taught them, like if we taught them good firearm safety and taught them how to hit a target, maybe they would hit less little kids and hit more of the people that they're actually supposed to that at, right?
Hello, Dr. Josh.
Idiots. Anyway, okay, Dr. Josh is here. I got something for you. Hebrew sublanguages.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means.
Well, Steve, why don't you tell everybody what you're asking Dr. Josh about?
Yeah, so Dr. Grady McMurtry was on Standing for Truth's channel, and he was talking about the literal interpretation of the Bible, and he was explaining that there are two different sublanguages in Hebrew, and the Genesis was written in the historical fact sublanguage. And anyway, I can let you listen to it if you want. You got a minute?
Yeah, sure. Does he mean genre?
I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I heard it and I thought, what?
What's a sublanguage?
I don't know. What? It's like,
That's
you have to
For
listen.
real, that's just retarded.
Well, I thought I'd run it by you because I don't know a lot about ancient Hebrew and things like that. So anyway, let's see. Oh my goodness, I put the wrong side. Oh, this is, by the way, my prediction was that Standing for Truth is going to become the next big AIG Hovind thing. And now he just launched his new website called Standing for Truth Ministries. Okay. This guy is coming for us. Watch him. I shared the wrong thing. Hang on a second.
Well, at least, white UCs, young earth creationists, they shoot themselves in the foot, right? I mean, they do. Let's face it, they shoot themselves in the foot. And I cannot wait until these people just go away. And I mean, they're not ever going to go away entirely, but people are going to get tired of this shit and just go, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Oh God,
let's hope. Okay, I'm gonna roll this, and please no foreskins until we get to the part about the Hebrew sublanguages, so we can figure this out. Let me know if you can't hear it.
We never read the Bible literally. We read it as inerrant. Because which language would it be literal in? Only in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. And even then, remember that God is a perfect author. You cannot read the Bible even in the original languages as literal, simply because God, being a perfect author, uses simile, metaphor, analogy, parable, proverb. And we as humans, when we write literature, cannot do those things unless he did them first. Now, the fact of the matter is, when we take a look at the early chapters of Genesis, they are written in what is referred to as Hebrew continuous narrative, meaning it's history. Now, every language has sub-languages within it. So, for example, in English, we would write poetry different than a business report. You know, we write history different than fiction. So the argument that these people like William Lane Craig have, and talking about, oh, it's metaphorical, it's allegorical, you know, it really makes it mythological, is simply an error, because the language itself tells us that God wrote it as a historical narrative when it comes to the description of creation and what happened early on. Much of the Old Testament is written in Hebrew poetry. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't fact in it. It's simply...
Okay, so what the hell is he talking about? Does that make any sense?
Well, I've never heard anybody call genres sub-language, but I mean...
Okay, yeah.
That doesn't mean
there are
nobody
conventions that we use to, you know, like you said, write a receipt, you know, for olive oil versus telling, you know, your queen that you love her or something. You know, there's different usages, different conventions.
I mean, the problem with what he's saying is, sorry, I'm looking at something else not related. Sorry. It's what happens when, see, if I'm out walking around when I talk to you guys, then I'm not tempted.
Distracted.
Yeah, look at something on my computer.
It was
I'm going to minimize that. Yeah, the problem is, I think that actually Genesis 1, if that's what he's, you know, referring to, is actually incredibly literary.
Yeah.
And it's very very intentionally literarily structured. So days 1 through 2 and 3 parallel days 4, 5, and 6. I mean, like there's no question that it's priestly literature. So this idea that, well, because it sounds like historical writing to us, that means that it's of the genre of you know, historical writing. Is just silly.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's all he means, is that, you know, we can't take it as you know, like a metaphor, or, which I'm fine with. I mean, I don't think it is a metaphor, right? I think this is cosmological genre. This is a cosmogony. This is how did the world get created? It's the genre of text that it is. We have, you know, lots of these. So
Dr. Josh, what did you learn? What did seminary teach you about squashing Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 together? How do they say that you should make those work? Because those are two different creation stories.
Yeah, not well. This is the thing about going to, at least in my experience, going to a fundamentalist school. Apologetics isn't really a big deal. It's not a big thing. I think it's sort of like talking to somebody that's just going to sort of plug their ears and say, no, the Bible, because the Bible. Right? We just assumed that Moses wrote it. We just knew that he wrote it all. So that,
yeah, you know, I mean, I did too.
Yeah. So I never really went through and actually thought a lot about how would I defend, because it was like, well, that's just such a dumb idea.
Yeah. When I went to seminary, the one I went to, Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, there was no discussion about it being two different creation stories. There might have been one mention that, it's just, you know, the one's an overview, the other's a detail or something like that, but nothing really. But I'm pretty sure that it, like, and you may know this school, Josh, Bright Theological Seminary on the campus of Texas Christian University. I'm pretty sure they teach that it's two separate creation stories. I think they're, you know, more, I guess the word liberal, more mainline than Southwestern was.
Well, yeah, I mean, they are literally two separate creation stories. All you got to do is look at it. Like in Genesis 1, this is just an example, okay? In Genesis 1, male and female are created together, okay? They just are. In Genesis 2, Adam is created first, and then Eve is created from the rib of Adam. So, I mean, you can't. There is no making that mesh. You can't have male and female being created together, and then the very next chapter over, you have Eve being created from Adam's rib. That just doesn't make any sense. But of course, since when does the Bible ever make sense? So
I have an off, not off topic maybe, but is this guy in any way related to Tommy McMurtry?
That's what I was wondering. He is apparently they think he may be the son of this guy here. Let's see, his family background suggests that he is that this is his dad, this Grady Lewis McMurtry, who was the head of the secret society Ordo Templi Orientis, founded by Aleister Crowley.
oh my God, are we talking about the Knights Templar, for God's sake?
I'm not sure, but apparently his father would have died in 1947.
Oh, hey, Jimmy Snow.
If it is Tommy McMurtry, I have to play this.
Oh,
you're muted.
No sound.
No sound. Sound not working. You must not have hit the sound button when you shared it.
I did.
I know.
Okay. All right, let's see. Share.
I don't know why that's not a default.
Let's see. I'm just gonna do that.
How's technology?
Is that
okay? Let's try. Okay, try it.
I'm not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying I don't.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's his kid or not, because I can't find a wiki entry on Grady.
Well, there's the hair recession.
Oh my God!
I'm not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying we don't really know.
I'm not saying Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying we don't actually know.
I'm not saying
that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins, but
we don't really know.
we just don't really know.
Okay, why did you? Who the fuck even started this meme anyway?
We're saying we don't know.
Oh wait, you're playing the video.
Jimmy started it. It.
It was the greatest thing ever because it just took off. It was great.
I'm not saying Pastor McMurtry.
Pastor McMurtry.
Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins.
Is sexually attracted to pumpkins.
I'm just saying we don't really know.
I'm just saying that we don't, really know. We're not certain. It's possible. We should ask.
Yeah, there's no evidence that they're related, so at least I can't find anything. Googling it, right off
I felt like it was a good end to bring that video back, that meme back up again.
It'd make a lot of sense if you went from the Aleister Crowley guy to to middle McMurtry and then down to Tommy McMurtry. It would have made a whole lot of poetic sense to me. In fact, I think I would write that in the sub-language of English poetry.
That would be the perfect thing for the sub-language of English poetry.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Tommy McMurtry, if you're watching, and I don't know whether you are or not, fuck it. But if you're watching, we don't really fucking care if you're sexually attracted to pumpkins. That's your fucking business.
No, I know.
But I'm sure
No.
we can find you a treatment center for those who are addicted to pumpkins, pumpkin love, somewhere. So call us, Tommy, if you need help. Okay, if it's a little too intrusive in your life, we'll find you some treatment.
Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna need a vaccine against his attraction to pumpkins. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean, that was just like, that just took off. Jimmy really gave us a gem in that one.
Yeah, I still see people with like pumpkins in their Twitter handles and stuff.
Topdawg did like 50 things in the private chat and then left, and I'm not sure which of them I'm supposed to put. Oh my! Anyway,
He didn't leave because of me, did he?
Oh, I don't think so. No, he had to go to work.
I was a real ass the other day. Side chat.
No, you weren't. Don't apologize. You were fine.
Oh, that's right.
I can't believe that Dr. Josh can ever be an ass.
Oh, I was. I was
you
trolling
weren't.
hard.
You were
Yeah,
fine.
we almost blocked you, Dr. Josh, but no, Topdawg was going to block you because he thought you were serious or something.
Yeah.
Well, we've got what is it, Otangelo Grasshole, and I can't tell you how many times people have thought it was the real Otangelo, because the parody is so close to the reality that you can't tell. You know, it's
oh crap! I'm sorry. I thought we had the real Otangelo in the chat.
Oh, do we have Grasshole again today, or
no? We don't have either one of them.
Oh, we don't have either one.
No.
I did peek at Jefferson's live stream a minute ago, and Otangelo was in that one.
Okay. Well, you know, if Otangelo comes to the chat, I'm gonna put my offer out again. Otangelo, if you can behave yourself in the live streams in the open rooms I come to, then if I ever have an open room again, you can come into the open room. But you have to show me more than once that you can behave yourself in an open room.
He won. I think he won a couple of awards, or I know he got a lot of nominations this morning on the Hereticals show
for Troll of the Year.
There were a bunch of different categories. Yeah, I got into one of the apologist categories.
You did? You're an apologist?
I guess as my troll persona.
Oh, good.
You know, about these apologists, you know, I mean, if the Bible was true, why would we even need fucking apologetics?
Yeah.
The very existence of apologetics totally disproves the Bible is true.
Well, we got divine hiddenness, you know.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I think that's kind of like a test, you know, that God is testing us to see if we can figure out that he really exists, even though he has put all this evidence out against his existence, that sort of thing.
Oh, I was watching Logic last night. I love that dude. And he was talking about John Morris Pendleton, and he was doing the flood, and Logic said, okay, so God did the flood so there would be evidence, but there's no scientific evidence except in the Bible. So why did God do the flood? I mean, he did this whole thing about, you know, about the circle, about there's supposed to be physical evidence because God did the flood, but there's but the scientific evidence doesn't say there's a flood. So why do we need to match man's word to God's word unless man's word doesn't fit God's word and blah, blah, blah. It's like, what the fuck?
By the way, Jason, do you know anything about the Earth's magnetic field and reversals and the evidence that we have in geology?
I mean, somewhat. I mean, we have a lot of evidence that relates and is associated with it has relationships with plate tectonics, because one of the mechanisms very briefly, one of the mechanisms that we used to prove plate tectonics was the movement of the magnetic poles. And the theory is that the poles were moving around, but in actuality, it was the continents that were moving around. And we used rock. We used magnetic materials that had orientations in the rock record to validate that. But that same validation is used to examine the flipping of the poles over time.
Right. So McMurtry has a whole lot to say about that in that video. Well, that I think Andrew Cumming and I are going over, and we might have you in to help us with that part of it.
Sure.
Okay.
Kent Hovind also has a lot to say about that. That says there's no evidence that the magnetic poles ever reverse, nor is there evidence they ever could reverse. What they're saying is there's strong magnetism and weak magnetism. And I'm like, you know what, Kent, go fuck yourself.
Well, McMurtry goes on about the pole or the magnetic field is decreasing or something. And for him, that's proof of old Earth creationism. And
this has been debunked.
Yeah.
There's a thing called, if I can remember correctly, I think it's called the Larusian exclusion, which is a way of it's a rock formation and structure that can be used to evaluate the magnetic shifts over time, and from that we deduce that the strength of the magnetic field it's not linear. It's decay. It decays and gets stronger and flips.
Yep.
And that is an argument against, I think, McMurtry's statement, which is it's been this continuous decay. That's actually not the case whatsoever. It hasn't continuously decayed. It's decayed and gotten stronger, and there's been reversals, and we have good evidence to suggest that.
Yeah, Immutable came up with a thing today while I was talking to him on the phone called a Pratt list, like previously refuted 1,000 times or something. And McMurtry seems to be an old school young Earth creationist. I think he came up with all of his information in 1975, and because he's still talking about those dinosaur rocks that were found to be created by this guy in Mexico.
Oh,
fraudulently. Yeah. He's still using that, and SFT is there nodding. Oh yeah, that's proof. It's like it previously refuted 1,000 times.
The guy who did that came out and said, "Oh yeah, I made him." I mean, what the fuck?
I know. They don't believe him. They think he's lying this time. It's just like, what in the fuck? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, well, I mean, you can't blame the dude. He was just jumping on the bandwagon for making money, right? I mean, hell, if you've got an opportunity like that and you've got the skill to do it, go for it. I mean, nobody's stopping you.
Yeah.
But then you come out and you say, "Oh yeah, I did them," and he even sat there and showed people how he made them. And they're still like, "Oh no, they're real."
Don't believe it.
I'm like, you are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what Pratt means in English. It's an English slang for fool.
For what? For bull?
Fool. FOOL.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Immutable came up with that today, and I'd never heard it before. But anyway, Immutable also had a paper that he wanted to discuss, but he's not here, so hell with him. But I don't know. It's Friday. Long week of looking at this creationist nonsense, and
I really don't look at creationist nonsense except for the debunks, because to tell you the honest truth, I don't have patience for them, and I did a debunk of the Shroud of Turin from the Bible, and there was this one person in my comment section, are like, because I said at the very beginning, I said this isn't worth my damn time. And it really wasn't. It wasn't worth my damn time, But I did it anyway, just because I promised Angela I would. And that's the only reason I did it, And they're like, well, you know what? We don't do the Shroud of Turin because it was found in the Bible. We do the Shroud of Turin because it's physical evidence. And I'm like, but it's not physical evidence, you idiots. It was made in the 14th century, and they're like, well, what about the image? And I'm like, you fucking idiots. It's a primitive form of photographic negatives. You remember, like, when you used to have to take your camera to the developer, take your film to the developer, and they would give you the pictures and the negatives. That's basically what the image on the Shroud of Turin is. It's a primitive form of a photographic negative. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out.
Oh my God, that's a do you remember thing now? I haven't. Well, I guess I haven't brought film into Walmart or Walgreens for about 25 years. But the last time I did, they did give us the negatives. I don't know. I guess they don't do that anymore.
I have no idea. I don't even.
They probably don't. Yeah, you get it digital.
I don't even use the film developers anymore, and tell you the honest truth.
No, nobody does. I think they're pretty much out of it.
I think they still give you the negatives.
Hello.
If you get prints.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, they might if you get. Yeah, I think they still do if you get prints. Interesting.
But that's basically what the imprint on the Shroud of Turin in. It's just a primitive form of a negative.
But even if
it's a lie, Lisa, you're a liar. You're a liar. And I'm trying to do a regular voice. I can't do it.
Even if the Shroud of Turin, the dating was incorrect and it was 2,000 years old, and even if you were to say the Shroud of Turin is conclusively an image of somebody being crucified, even if you could prove those beyond a shadow of a doubt, it still doesn't prove it's actually Jesus.
Exactly. And plus, the synoptics say the shroud was one thing, but John says, and this is the kicker, because the Gospels can't agree on what the shroud is. John says the shroud was strips, like what you would wrap a mummy in, and then there was a separate face cloth for the face. And I'm like, so where is it? Where is it?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And then they're like, oh, we don't use the Bible. I'm like, well, if you don't use the fucking Bible, you're not a fucking Christian, you fucking moron.
The shroud is a picture of the guy from Jesus Christ Superstar. It's like the shroud is like an Americanized Jesus. It's like it's like Jesus with the beard, and he's the white guy. Well, you can't tell he's white, but he's got the long hair, he's got the beard. I'm not surprised if like the image of what we modern view of Jesus is affected by the Shroud of Turin. Like they you know what I mean? Like it's the way we see Jesus is based on just what we think Jesus looked like, and you know, I'm sure the shroud had something to do with that.
They used to have an 8-foot high. They used to have an 8-foot high portrait of the white Jesus with the beard at the Presbyterian church I went to when I was a little kid, and that forever stuck in my mind. And then, interestingly, when I had this brain crash where I woke up and I felt a presence above my bed. Later on, when I edited the memory, it ended up being exactly like that Presbyterian portrait from when I was a kid.
Oh,
right, I can see Jesus,
Sounds
right?
like sleep, sounds like sleep paralysis. How you doing?
It was.
Snake?
Yeah, it was, that's what it was.
Snake in the house.
Snake.
You know, I had a snake in my garage 2 summers ago.
By the way,
snake in my boot.
Prove me wrong.
Anyway, Otangelo was saying. Otangelo said in the comment of that in the comment section of that video, he's like, well, you know, there's another shroud somewhere else. I'm like, thank you for debunking your own argument, Otangelo. There can't be 2 shrouds.
His argument is they go by the thorns on the head there, the whatever they call that.
Crown of thorns.
The Shroud of Turin has that on it.
That's guys, I got a phone call I got to make with another collaborator, so I'm going to jump off. If I get finished, I'll come back on.
All right.
Okay, trader.
See
I'm
you
sorry.
later, Jason.
I got slacked. I gotta go talk to somebody.
Gotcha.
So, all right, I'll see you.
Bye.
Well, basically, the killing argument for Otangelo is, number 1, it looks like Jesus. Number 2, who else could it be?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, how the fuck does he know it looks like Jesus? Does he know what Jesus looked like? No. And second of all, who else could it be? Well, maybe it could be another crucified person, but I mean, we don't have any other shrouds for many other crucified people. So why the fuck do you think that Jesus would be any different? And blah, 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 blah.
Like I said, he goes to the thorn thing every time when people use that argument. Oh, it's not him. And supposedly Jesus was the only one that was documented, or what, I don't know, is that in the Bible? I don't know where that is, that documented that he had the thorns on the head. He's the only one, supposedly.
Well, you know what? That was in the Bible, and that was available in the 14th century. God damn it! What kind of fucking arguments do you have if you have to say
Lisa,
something like that?
You have to explain to me how it was made.
Well, it can't be anyone. That's impossible. Yeah. The face would be like completely distorted and stretched out if it was wrapped around someone's face. But it's like drawn as if it was just stretched 2D.
Yeah.
And somebody else told me the proportions of the face are all wrong.
It looks like a cartoon.
Yeah, there's an article on infidels.org that I read where the guy talked about, basically he looked like a big, tall Neanderthal, caveman type, walking through the streets of Jerusalem. If that was Jesus.
And I think some people that have studied it, they make the argument about how, of course, the picture on there is the head is perfectly round, and if that was actually wrapped around, it wouldn't meet. The cloth wouldn't meet like that. Because your head is round and all that. So that's one of the arguments against it too.
I mean, you don't even need carbon dating to debunk it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you really don't. Yeah.
I don't know what these fucking idiots are thinking that say, "Hey, it's real." I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, it's funny too that all these like supposed like artifacts that prove Christianity, like most of them, if not all, are Catholic, but a lot of the online theists are all like, they don't even think Catholics are Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You know, the Shroud of Turin is a Catholic thing, and Otangelo is a fundamentalist. So why are you using a Catholic thing? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, I mean,
because it still proves Jesus.
It's just
That's
like
right.
the grill.
Yep.
It's just like the grilled cheese Jesus. You know. I mean, come on, that was just a faulty skillet, you idiots. I mean, if you don't accept the grilled cheese Jesus, and I don't think Otangelo would, then why would you accept the goddamn Shroud of Turin?
You know,
I do accept the potato chip Jesus. I don't know.
I've been making grilled cheese sandwiches like 7 or 8 times a week for a long time now, just to see if I can get that one Jesus cheese, grilled cheese.
If you punch it in, I think in YouTube you can come up with one that's in a dog's ass too.
Well, also,
Image
you know,
of Jesus.
this is just my opinion. I'm not a doctorate in anthropology, but in my opinion, the quote unquote Jesus on that Shroud of Turin doesn't even look doesn't even look Semitic. The proportions are all wrong. Because Semitic people are generally short. That dude's not short.
I don't even think it looks particularly realistic.
No, it doesn't. I mean, but even if you want to grant that it does look realistic, it doesn't look like a Semitic person.
Yeah.
I found Jesus in this plant pod. I'm looking for him. That I have under my microscope. But I can't find him. Damn it. I found him before. But I'm sure I saw Jesus in this plant.
You know, for the longest time, there was circulated these something in a cell or whatever that Christians would pass around that was shaped like a cross, and they would use that as proof that.
Oh yeah, what was that? God, that was some something on a cell. What was it? It was a protein. You know, basically. Yeah. Okay. The cross protein. I'll see if I can look it up. I forgot what it was.
But you know, basically, it turned out well. Yeah, you catch them when they look like a cross. They look like a cross, but they have all sorts of shapes or whatever.
Well, that's like Jordan Peterson found the DNA double helix in ancient Chinese drawings or something like that. Have you heard about that one?
I know he tried on the camera, and then Otangelo tried to shame everybody for kind of giggling about it.
Well, see, the funny part, well, not the funny part, the sad part about it is the texts they use from the Torah to justify that Jesus was Messiah aren't even talking about Jesus. The most famous text that they use in the Torah for Jesus as Messiah is Isaiah 53. And Isaiah 53 isn't even talking about Jesus. It's talking about King Hezekiah.
Yeah, I know. I remember years ago.
Here it is.
There you go. Right after I got saved, I opened up Isaiah 53 because somebody told me it had predicted, Jesus, and read through that, and I was going, I don't get it. I don't see where it's predicting Jesus.
Well,
and then basically your whole Christian life, they're trying to convince you it's predicting Jesus.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Isaiah 53, okay, I got to explain this again. I have to explain this every fucking time. Chapters are arbitrary. Christians put chapter breaks in there to make a point, but the chapter breaks are arbitrary because the original text does not have chapter breaks in them. So you have to go to Isaiah 52 to figure out exactly what Isaiah 53 is talking about. When Isaiah 53 is talking about the suffering servant, it is talking about Israel. It is not talking about Jesus. Now, when Isaiah is talking about the mighty God, he is not talking about Jesus. He's talking about Hezekiah. And you're like, okay, well, where do I get that? Well, you go to Toby Singer's channel. He is a rabbi, and right there, there's a lot of Jews in the audience, and he doesn't say this. The Jews in the audience say that. He's like, okay, what does Hezekiah mean? And he gets the answer, the mighty God. There you go. Hezekiah means the mighty God. Hello, case closed.
So Answers in Genesis doesn't even think this Lamin idea is a good one. By the way, the protein Lamin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Wow.
Yeah, so,
when Answers in Genesis tries to debunk something like that,
right,
that's saying something.
Yeah, but the reason for doing it is that we can never use what we observe in the world can certainly be used to confirm God's word, but our finite observations are not in a position to evaluate the infinite things of God. So I mean, even the rebuttal is bullshit, but anyway. but they don't like the argument. But anyway, that's Lamin. That's one of the things we're going to talk about in our cell biology thing. Because Lamin make things stick together, and the guy that came out with this made a case that the cross brings us together, and Lamin is what makes cells stick together. So anyway, pretty far fetched.
Well, okay, so the religion that Christianity is based on, which is Judaism, right? Not even Judaism is true. Okay, I mean, it's just not. It's just not. I go through this. Archaeology has proven that, Judaism isn't true. And I'm sorry for the Jews out there, but it's not. And I mean, I'm not going to keep my mouth shut just because I hurt somebody's feelings.
Yeah, but there are secular Jews, and from what I gathered from the Old Testament, I wish Dr. Josh was here to correct me. It seems like it was a bunch of laws that they put out, like it was meant to be laws to live by or whatever. And then I think a lot of the books came together that way. That they had.
We can't even archaeologically or historically prove anyone until David. We can't even prove Saul.
Yeah.
And a lot of archaeologists think that Saul did exist, but there's no way to prove Saul existed. And the only way we can prove David is because there's the stela in Egypt. But that does not mean that David was the David of the Bible. It just doesn't. I mean, the stela in Egypt talks about the house of David. Yes, it does. No question there. But that says nothing about that's the King David of the Bible. Nothing, And it isn't even until later that we get on firm historical and archaeological ground. Like, there's even some wiggle room about Solomon. Did Solomon actually exist? We really don't know. There's sketchy evidence that he existed, but we really don't know. We're not really on firm historical or archaeological grounds until we get to the divided kingdom. That is when we are on firm ground.
I'm recording something on my microscope, so I'm a little distracted.
Okay. And people are like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I'm like, I took fucking archaeology classes, you fucking morons. So you take archaeology classes, and then you come back and you tell me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yep.
Because they don't know the archaeology, you know.
That's what Dr. Josh does, right?
Dr. Josh is an Assyriologist. He doesn't actually go out in the field.
Yeah, I think he was out in the field. I think he was out on one dig when he was probably a graduate student. I'm not sure. He talked about it on our show. So
yeah.
But yeah.
But he doesn't do digs like archaeologists
Well,
do.
have you looked at this Sandy Pigeon on Sal Cordova's channel? He talks a lot about all this archaeological evidence for the Bible. You ought to check out some of those videos with Sandy Pigeon. He supposedly got a degree in, he has a PhD in theology. Scott, is it? Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he concentrated on apologetics as well.
Apologetics. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, he's got a whole diatribe.
Theologians and apologists are not experts in archaeology.
Yeah, but he thinks he is. So he's got all this. I don't know. They babble on Sal's channel about it. You might want to check that out, Lisa, and do some debunk on that stuff. Debunk. They love that word, debunk, don't they? Yeah. I never liked that word. I think it sounds like bunk.
Yeah, according to my friend Wikipedia, that particular inscription about the House of David was discovered in northern Israel in the Tel Dan Stele, and it's just talking about how this one king basically laid waste to the House of David. Let's see. I killed Joram, son of Ahab, king of Israel, and I killed Ahaziah, son of Joram, king of the House of David. And I said, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty cool because it's got pictures of it and everything, the scratching on it. I love stuff like this.
Yeah, which makes you think, okay, well, the House of David was, according to the Stela, the House of David was obliterated. I mean, there might be other that, but anyway. So, how can Jesus be of the House of David? Well, first of all, I don't think Joseph. Why Joseph was apparently of the lineage of David. But why the fuck do we even care about Joseph? Joseph wasn't even his father,
Or David, because they're always like, David's not supposed to be. He's supposed to be more of like a cautionary tale. So why are all the heroes like? Why does your Messiah have to be descended from him?
Well, I ran across a book by Joel Baden. I haven't gotten the book, but I watched some videos on the topic. Joel Baden is a professor of Hebrew Bible. I think it's at Yale. And his position is that the story of David is just kind of a political spin on, that particular founding character. And it's just designed for you to
I can
do with a broken, flawed individual.
I can get on board with that because during Josiah's rule, Josiah was like, look, I'm the king. I can prove that I've got royal blood and blah 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 blah. So it makes total sense that all that shit was political. I mean, we don't even have any evidence for the quote unquote Mosaic law before Josiah ordered the restoration of the temple, and then all of a sudden, oh, Josiah, we've got the law of Moses.
Yeah, also like political spin in the way that like it was Dave or the people who put it together, put the writings, the histories together. The earlier ones, it's their way of saying, yes, a bunch of people died. Like Saul died, but David didn't have anything to do with it. His son Absalom died, but David wasn't there. He couldn't help what happened. And it's just you could, if you look at it the way Baden describes, you do see it as kind of that political distancing from bad things that keep happening to anybody who runs across David. And then the later writings just eliminate those parts of it. And
right.
They don't even deal with it. So, it was just this nice, happy little bland vanilla reign of David.
But you know what's interesting? They try to distance David from the killing of Saul because the Bible says, David refused to kill Saul when he had the chance to do it. But interestingly enough, the Bible says that David was fighting on the side of the Philistines when Saul was killed. Huh. And who killed Saul? Well, according to the Bible, he committed suicide, but why did he commit suicide? Because the Philistines were coming for him. Huh. Gee. Wow. What could that mean? I don't know. I'm just a fucking moron. I can't figure that out.
That's me.
Yep.
Hey, Marty.
Who is? Oh, Maddie or Marty?
Marty.
Marty. Which Marty? Not Martin. Martine? No? Martin?
It says Maddie 101 with two T's and two Y's.
Yeah. I don't think we've had you on before, or have we?
Maybe, probably not.
Probably not. Okay. Let me see here. Dr. Josh is back, so Dr. Josh could speak to these issues. Lisa?
Yeah, Josh, have you read Joel Baden's book on the historical David? I may have asked you that already.
Yeah, most of it. At least the major
of it.
We were talking about the Egyptian stela found in Israel.
The one that Tell Dan stela about the House of David.
Okay.
Mentioned the House of David. He may not hear us very well. He's out on a walk.
Okay, so Saul killed himself. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry, hey, I think that there's a delay on this.
Yep, you're all walking.
Yeah.
Cranking your volume up here. You're a little bit weak. So you get close to
David did fight for the Philistines to freak. The Bible says that David fought for this Philistine. I don't know whether David even existed or not, but the fucking Bible says David fought for the Philistines. So if you want to fight with your fucking butt, go ahead. I'm not fucking stopping you because that's a fucking idiotic bit to begin with.
Yes.
Sorry, can I get the general gauge of the group? Is everybody here Christian?
No. I don't think anybody is.
Nobody is.
Are you?
No, so I'm just wondering, are we taking the Bible literally?
Oh, we're not.
Well, we're not.
Oh, we're not. But fundamentalists do, and so that's the whole point.
Sorry,
that's the whole point.
I'm very sorry. Just Lisa, you sounded really passionate about that. Then I was just getting
I used to be a fundamentalist. They ruined my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tend to go hard after them.
Okay, I'm sorry, but okay, just so I can understand where the group's at. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all. I think we're atheists 100% here today. So
yeah, I'm an atheist.
We've been trying to get Christians to come on, but they don't want to.
Yeah, and I was telling that lady or guy or whoever that was making comments on my Shroud of Turin video. I'm like, what part of I'm an atheist don't you understand?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you can ask like religious people that type of thing, but they're going to come back with different answers which do not make rational sense. It's just going to be mad.
That's true.
So, like, where are you from? I hear is that a Welsh accent?
I'm from next to Liverpool in England.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
How's everything in Liverpool this evening?
It's all right, everything seems okay, apart from there's floods, like a day or two ago, there's a bit of flooding, but apart from that, everything's fine.
Can I ask, how did you find us?
I've been just browsing YouTube, just live streams, and I just can't come across it. So,
Cool.
Okay.
Cool that I actually came up on somebody's radar.
Yeah.
Pretty small channel so far.
Maddie, Marty, I don't know. My eyes are shit. I'm sorry.
It's Maddie.
Maddie? Okay. You might want to check out my channel. It's got a lot of history shit that debunks the Bible, but it's not like it's not debunking the Bible per se. It's just history that debunks the Bible.
Well, fair enough. I'll give you up right now and give you a subscribe, and then when I get time, I'll
I put it in I put it in public chat, Maddie, if you want to check out Lisa's channel, and I'll put it in private chat as well.
So I will be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Not sure if I will be, but okay. So I put it also in the description of this video. We put a whole lot of links in our description about all the stuff we talk about. We try to put all the papers and all the different videos that we comment on. So the descriptions on the weather report, if you go back a few days, you can find a whole lot about what's going on in this creationist versus atheist community.
Yeah. May I ask what if I'm searching to YouTube? What's your channel name called?
Answers in Atheism. This one is.
It's just I'm on my laptop. I'm a phone.
That's what we're on. I'm having a little trouble with the accent difference between us. So forgive me.
I will try and speak a little bit slower because I've heard that one before.
Oh, that's great because my brain works very slowly. But anyway, we have we do this weather report every day, and we try to go through what's going on in this tight little creationist pseudoscience community, and we push back on them, and we just kind of get together and chat every day for 2 hours from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time, which I believe is the only time zone in the world universe.
But, well, for me, it's 11:30 at night.
Yeah. So you guys are like way across the pond.
Of course.
Yes. I was across the pond about 5 years ago, and I was thinking about moving to the UK because the flight over in coach was so horrifying that I didn't want to fly back. So I was thinking about actually
playing.
Moving so that I didn't have to fly back. And I tried to upgrade to first class, and they wanted like $2,500, and I think my credit card had $2,400 on it, so I couldn't do it.
You don't want to anyway. Well, just wave it out and just go to sleep on the flight. All right.
Oh, it was horrible. It was like they put us in a sardine can with a whole lot of other pissed off sardines, and it was like 7 hours.
Yeah, I've flew to I went to Miami once when I was 22, and first of all we went to Atlanta or wherever that is, the Delta Airway hub base or whatever, and then we flew from there, and it's 12 hours all in all.
Yeah,
it wasn't a great flight, but I was next to a U.S. Army guy who well, it wasn't U.S. Army, he was UK Army, but so this is weird. He's American, but he flew to England to join the English Army.
Oh,
and then flew back.
Yeah.
But I'm comfortable flying now. So, but do you get any turbulence or anything, or was it just the fact that he was just like contained?
What was that? I didn't get the last part.
Did you get any in-flight turbulence, or was it just that you was like contained in a small tin can?
Just contained, mostly contained. Sitting next to my son, who's kind of a sea hog, and I thought I was in hell for 7 hours, and tried to get up once in a while, but I will never go overseas again unless I get first class or comfort seating. I'll never fall for that again. It was horrible.
Okay.
Horrifying. Yep.
So I traveled from Alabama to Oregon in business class, and I fucking had a hard time. I can't imagine going transatlantic without first class. That's just no.
Yeah, I love first class.
If I ever go transatlantic, first class is what I'm going, because I can't stand coach. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It has to do with my knees. I mean, they don't give you much room in coach,
No.
and my knees just can't take it.
Yeah, I strongly considered having both of my legs amputated for the flight back because it would have been more comfortable, but my kids talked me out of it. So, because without legs, it would have been much more comfortable. I don't know what the hell
I mean, I have no idea what the fuck the airlines are thinking.
In the last 20 years, I think all the airplanes, they took them back to the factory and they said, hey, take these 80 seats out and put back in 160 of them. Because, and it's like, give us a break. It's like, what are you doing? It's horrible.
To be honest, for us English people, every flight to like Europe, it's about, you're talking about 2 hours max. Maybe if you're going to like Greece or somewhere, 3.5 hours. So I can deal with short being confined. You get 2 meals, you can whatever.
Yeah.
Especially during this COVID, you find half the place empty anyway, so you can lie down and stuff if you want.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do understand what you mean.
But I really love the UK and Scotland too. I mean, it was just a wonderful trip going over there. It was probably the first time I'd spent any significant time overseas, and it changed my view of the world significantly. Just getting out of the United States, being a Midwest boy and being stuck here all my life with this U.S. flag waving bullshit. It was cool to see the rest of the world, and how, yeah.
To be honest, everybody like that I know loves Americans as well. There's every now and again, like I'm not saying often, I'm saying like there's some American band that came over and everybody was buzzing off them, and I've met like one or two Americans out in Liverpool town, and they're always having a great time. Yeah, you always love it.
It was pretty cool. I went over right when Trump started pulling ahead in the polls before he was elected, and we had all these. I'd run into all these people, particularly this one driver, and we were just horrified that Trump was even possibly going to get elected, that he was even running. And our driver from Scotland, he said, "Oh no, this is the greatest show on earth. This is like the best, funniest thing you guys have ever done." Running President Trump. He said, don't stop, keep it coming. And oh my God. And then we got back and the son of a bitch got elected. I couldn't believe it.
Well,
yeah, you know what? If he gets reelected in 2024, which I don't think he will, I think he'll be in prison where he fucking belongs.
Yeah.
But if he gets reelected in 2024, I'm just gonna fucking drown myself.
I gotta leave.
I'm not going through this again.
No, don't do that. It's nothing. It's out of our control either way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter to the rest of the world, really. Like apart from unless you're somewhere that Trump's going to invade, but he's not going to. He's not like that. He's probably just a dumbass trying to make money. Just ride it through.
Yeah. I'm going to have to disconnect from all media if he gets reelected in order to stay sane.
No, do you really, outside of America, nobody really cares. You do a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear about the January 6th commission?
No.
They're asking for every fucking thing that Trump ever did in the White House. I mean, everything.
Like an investigation into him.
Yeah. I mean, they're asking for everything. And, they're right now they're housed in the White House archives. And it's going to take the White House archives a lot of fucking time to get the House what they want, so that's going to take a lot of fucking time. But, otherwise, yeah, they want everything.
It's going to be interesting to see what they pull up.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the Democrats have figured out we can't have kid gloves with these fucking people anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, finally they figured that out, But anyway.
I tend to be the feeling as you're all American, and I hope I'm guessing that you all want what you all want for everybody to prosper in the country, but
and that can't happen with what the fucking Republicans want.
Such a divide in America at the moment, which I'm not sure what would be the best way to do it. Would it just be to not do Democrat, not do Republican, and maybe do something else that's like in between, like maybe you could all band together with like I don't want to say it, but like maybe a Green Party or something.
Yeah, something else.
Something like that, or anything that like maybe there's a science version or a technology version or whatever. You could just all join together with that if that was offering something better.
Yeah,
and like get everybody back together, because I think not into like half of America being like divided. That's a bit bad, isn't it?
I want everybody to prosper in the world.
Yeah,
I think it would make things a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Like, I mean, with this coronavirus shit, we wouldn't even be in this mess if Trump hadn't said, "Oh, it's just a hoax from China."
Yeah.
And what the fuck?
Supposedly it was. It supposedly is from China, but
Yeah,
but
it
it's
is.
on
It
the
is. It was. It started in China. Yes, it did, but it's not a hoax. You know.
it's definitely
And
okay.
and then what did the fucking idiot do when he got corona? Did he just say, "Oh, this is a hoax"? You know, it's nothing. No,
No big deal.
the fucking idiot went to the doctors.
Well, come on, he's not that much of an idiot if he went to the doctors. I'm joking. He is an idiot, but he's going to hoax in the first place, obviously. Yeah, I actually got corona because my girlfriend's a care worker, and she passed it on to me. It's terrible, but I actually got it quite bad as well. But I've been double jabbed now, and but what I'm worried about is a few of my friends like that I work colleagues, they're older than me, and they still get they're double jabbed, and then they're getting coronavirus even now. 2 of them have already had coronavirus after being double vaccinated.
Yeah.
Can I address the freak, the comment you have here? The freak. Weak is relative. In physics, gravity is defined as a quote unquote weak force. Yes.
Yeah. What is he going on about?
I don't fucking know.
Basically,
But
the atmosphere. How does the atmosphere?
He thinks vacuums.
Weak
He thinks
is
vacuums suck.
relative, you idiot.
Oh, vacuums pull. Oh, okay. Vacuums suck the atmosphere. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You gotta go. You gotta watch some YouTube videos.
Unplug the vacuum cleaner and plug in the brain, and that'll help. That might help a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yep.
So we got some cool guys here. We got a hyena. We got Kim in the Frog or something. And we got what's David? Is he like a nebula or something?
Yeah, I think he's kind of the universe. David is out there.
Yeah, way the fuck out there. Like
he's way out there. Yeah. The hyena is basically the Christians called us speed of sound and its demonic band of hyenas. Yep. So since then, yeah,
nice one.
I'm so far out there, I'm balding on my head, and because the vacuum is sucking the hair off the top of my head, so I'm starting to bald.
Man,
I'm like way out there.
Get hair transplant.
Yeah.
Well, who's Kim at the Frog?
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I think we're going to end it for the day. What do you think?
Yeah, it's getting there. Gur's going to do a stream.
Can you hear me?
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, dear.
Yeah.
Hi, Lisa. Nobody should go on Gur's channel.
Hello?
Yeah,
we can hear you, Lisa. Maybe you can't hear us.
Can you hear us, Lisa? Are we muted?
I think she's having technical problems.
Speed the sound. Can you please tell me which is the Gur's channel?
Which Gur's stream? I will put that in the chat too.
Thank you.
Yeah, but don't go there because his channel causes sexually transmitted diseases.
Yeah,
I want
and cancer.
Hello.
Yeah, cancer. Yes.
Hi, Lisa.
We can hear
Lisa. Can you hear us? We can hear you. What's
Yeah.
happening? What's going on? Okay, I'm putting Gur's. Okay, Gur's streams is one of them. He has a companion channel, but I think he's going to do it on Gur's stream.
I'll be right back.
Gur's, yeah.
Okay.
Gur's stream is what he's doing it on. Yep.
Yep.
And he's starting at 7 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock your time speed, in 15 minutes.
So he says. Now, yesterday he said
Yeah.
he's going to start a stream in
Yeah.
20 minutes, and he was nowhere to be seen. He was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
What's that?
Can I join the stream? Like I'm joined on the stream.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's
he'll let you on. Yeah,
there's
he'll
a
let you on.
StreamYard link over there. He has a really fun streams. So
Yeah.
he has a lot.
Yeah,
of
you'll have a good time over there.
Yeah.
If you don't see it pinned or in the chat. It should be in the description. The link.
I think we've got Gary's stream, and I think we've also subscribed to Lisa.
Oh, great. Okay.
Anyway, I think we're going to end for the day, guys. So we're going to shoot it in the head.
That's always a good idea.
And thank you for having
It's
such
nice
a
meeting you, Maddie.
entertaining.
Yep, nice meeting you, Maddie. We'll maybe see you over at Gers in a
You
little
guys
bit.
are the best.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and please sub if or did he say he did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Ending. Let's see, what are we doing here?